And the first strategy we must have is to keep Singapore open and embrace the world. Open in a mindset. Be an outward-looking, confident society, willing to change, welcoming competition, willing to consider new ideas and to explore new opportunities. That's how we've become a successful and cosmopolitan city. That's how we've competed against bigger countries and held our own. That's how we can stay abreast of the changes, improve our lives, and secure a bright future for our children here in Singapore. So when it comes to trade, we are prepared to do business with anybody. Trans-Pacific Partnership with America, Australia, and so on, we join in. FTA with the EU, with all their problems, we still want to do business with them. Let's see how we can get a win-win relationship going. We open ourselves to the world, to business. We also welcome talent, an attitude which has served us well. I described just now in my Chinese speech how the Hong Kong TV channel TVB talked about our policies here and admired us for it. But I give you a more personal example of this. Many people come to Singapore to live, work or play. They're impressed by Singapore, they go back home, they may rise. They are promoting Singapore as a friend, as a place where there's opportunity to prosper together. One such person is the New Zealand Prime Minister, Mr. John Key. He was here recently, visited us. But many of you don't know, he actually lived and worked in Singapore about 15 years ago, in the mid-1990s, for Merrill Lynch. His son was born here, and he remembers Singapore fondly, especially East Coast Park and the chili crabs and the pepper crabs, which he still goes back to visit every time he's here privately. Now he's Prime Minister of New Zealand, pursuing more cooperation with Singapore, which will benefit us, whether it's in terms of our food, getting food from New Zealand, whether education opportunities in New Zealand, whether it's travel opportunities there. So an open attitude, I think, serves us well. And we need not just small numbers of top talent, but a wide range of foreign professionals and skilled workers. And this remains a hot issue for Singaporeans because they worry about overcrowding, about competition for themselves and their children, about different social norms, language, and so on. Yesterday, I posted an article on my Facebook page. It was about Germany facing this problem of foreign talent. They don't have enough workers. Their economy is prospering. They need engineers. They need IT people. They are importing some of them from Southern Europe where there are no jobs. And the professionals are going there. And in the long term, this is going to be a great help to Germany because it's going to strengthen their industry, strengthen their capabilities, build them up as an economic power even more. But in the long term, it's going to weaken the countries which lose this talent. And they're worried, the Spanish are worried, one day they may end up doing nothing except tourism and agriculture. But the Germans also face problems because the foreigners come in, different language, different culture, they can't fit in with the Germans. The Germans say "Herr" to one another, Mr. So-and-so, very formal in their engagements. The Southern Europeans are very informal in their engagements. So there's a clash and it grates. So I posted this to trigger some thought among Singaporeans that, hey, we're not alone in our problems. And it attracted hundreds of comments, many heartfelt and thoughtful ones from readers. People clearly seized with the issue, trying to see how we are different from Germany, what the problems we are facing in Singapore. So it's an issue, but it's a strategic issue for Singapore, which is important for us to get right. We will be debating the immigration and foreign worker issues during this year, so I cannot solve the problem today, but today I'd just like to focus on one angle concerning the foreign workers, and that's the economic angle. And the way the employers look at this is different from the way the workers look at this. The employers, as Sri told you just now, their attitude is, cannot find enough workers in Singapore, especially workers who will stay on the job. So better to bring in some foreign workers, seize the opportunities, rather than let the business go somewhere else. At least you keep the jobs, the business in Singapore, and you keep some jobs in Singapore. The workers see it often differently. That the foreign workers add to competition against them. That if you have too many, it may reduce wages, and it may even take away some of the jobs which Singaporeans can do. So better we have fewer foreign workers and let our wages go up. If you asked me which to believe, I would say both arguments have their merits, but each one is only valid up to a point. You need a mix of local and foreign workers to man the companies. But if you set up a new company and only create jobs for foreigners, then you must ask, really, is this the best place for the company to come and invest in Singapore? What's the point? On the other hand, if you want the company to come and you insist that all the jobs are reserved for locals and you don't give them any foreigners and you don't have enough Singaporean workers or the right type, then I think the jobs will disappear. The IRs came to Singapore. We've created 30,000, 40,000 jobs in the 2 IRs, many of them for Singaporeans, but not all for Singaporeans. And if we had said, IRs come here, you just hire Singaporeans, I don't think you would have got the IRs. And I don't think those Singaporeans would have got the jobs, which have pushed up demand for hotel workers, which have enabled hotel wages to go up significantly for many other hotels and F&B outlets, and which has put the pressure on the hotels to upgrade and do the 3-in-1 like Matthew just now you saw on the screen doing. So the reality is we need a mix. Companies need a mix, and we must strike the right balance. When I met the union leaders last week, they all told me, without exception, that they could not find enough workers. Every sector, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's electronics, whether it's F&B, whether it's services, all were looking for people. We are creating opportunities more than we have bodies to fill. Last year, we created 120,000 jobs, but there were only 32,000 Singaporeans to fill them, 1 in 4. And our unemployment is already so low, and many of the rank and file workers already working overtime to meet demand. So we've had to top up with foreign workers to lower costs and to enable us to seize that opportunity when the business is good. Then the new companies can start. Then we can start creating new jobs, better jobs for Singaporeans. And then we can give the company a chance to build a Singapore core. One of the unionists asked me, how many foreign workers do we need? So I said, there's no magic numbers. It depends on the opportunities. In a good year, you want to allow it a few more to come in. In a slow year, we can tighten. We can let some of them go off. But it also depends on our own needs. If you want to build more HDB flats and MRT lines, you need more foreign workers. You want to have more hospitals and nursing homes, I think is unavoidable. You need some extra nurses, some extra allied health professionals, even some extra doctors from wherever you can find them who can serve us well. But in total, we have to slow the inflow of foreign workers significantly in the coming years, because we just can't keep on bringing in 80,000 more foreign workers a year. There's just not space, and it's not sustainable to keep on going up and up and up. So we have tightened up, slowed down, not squeezed and reduced, but just slowed down the increase. And I think the company is already feeling the squeeze. It gives them the incentive to upgrade their productivity and also to develop a Singaporean core in their companies, people who will form the long-term skills, long-term loyalty, long-term capability for the companies and for Singapore. So, while we must always be open to the world, let me be quite clear. Singaporeans will always be our priority. This is the purpose of all our policies, including on foreign workers or talent. We are trying to seek the maximum advantage for Singapore and for Singaporeans.